Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tekfen 2020 third quarter results conference call. I now hand over to Shalak Govern. Sir, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mary. Welcome to Tekfen Holding third quarter results call. We have top management joining us today to answer any of your questions. And now we are ready to take the first question. Now back to you, Mary.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question by phone, please press 01 on your telephone keypad. Thank you. The first question comes from Selim Kunter from AK Investment. Sir, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I have two questions, if I may. The first one is going to be about the approximately 300 million TL contracting loss. Can you provide some detail on this? Is this a one-off loss or a cost overrun? Which project it is related to, or projects, and whether this has a potential to be recovered through claims in the future. And the second question is going to be on your cash position. I see that it came off from around $500 million mark in March to a tad above $100 million in just 6 months. And I understand that there is a dividend payment and the amount you paid for the acquisition of the remaining stake of SOCAR's petrochemical plant. But at the same time, I'm seeing that your receivables from ongoing works is on the uptrend. And it raises the question whether there is a collection challenge here, and if so, which project or project it's related to. And, well, linked to this, where would you expect your cash position to end the year? Thank you.
Hi, this is Levent from Contracting. Regarding your first question about the loss, it is one time, and some of them due to, not some of them, almost all of them due to COVID, because projects are running, but COVID effect has not been recognized by the client yet. We are negotiating, and we have some additional requests, if we want to call it claim. And till the end of the year, some of them we hope will be finalized. Some of them may shift to the 2021 first quarter.
Thank you. And could you give the detail as to the amount of this one-off loss? I mean, if this wasn't recognized during the third quarter, where would your EBITDA margin be in the contracting arm? Thank you.
Now it's almost zero, but if that effect was not realized, our expectation was about between 4 and 5%, 4.6, something like that.
Okay, thank you.
So it's the difference in between the realized loss.
Okay. And on the cash position?
For the project collections, you had a question, I guess.
Yes, actually, it was just about the cash position. It's coming up from $500 million to $100 million in just 6 months. So I was just just curious whether this is a collection problem, and if so, how much would be recognized in the future.
So, of course, it has a breakdown of different reasons. First of all, I mean, since the end of 2019, as you said, it's down from $500 plus million to almost 100. And there is a $100 million payment for the Sokar Polymer acquisition, some dividend payments of around $65 million, and some investments in Meram renewable energy and similar type of investments, and the remaining amount will be actually project financing, and it's on the balance sheet now as a collection item from the clients.
If the things goes as we expect, when our additional request, which you may call the claim, realized in last quarter, then our cash positions will be better. It affects directly.
Okay, so the $250 million increase in the receivables from ongoing works is not related to one particular project. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes,
You're right. You're right.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next question comes from Hovay Ulkarsa from Integral. Sir, please go ahead.
Hello, sir. My name is Hovay Ulkarsa from Integral Yatırım. I have two questions in total. First of all, do you anticipate the recent discoveries of natural gas in the Black Sea to result in new contracts for you in terms of pipelines? And my second question is that you actually have announced a remarkable increase in your agricultural and chemical growth sales. Would you anticipate this to go on at this pace? If not, why? Thank you very much.
Regarding the Black Sea gas recovery, we are very closely following, and we are talking with the clients and the related bodies, and it might be a potential future project for us. And the study, the homework is being made accordingly.
Okay, thank you very much. And on the agricultural and chemical products?
Hello, it's Hakan. If I may answer your second question. First of all, I would like to underline the fact that in line with the pandemic, the importance of food and access to food has accelerated. This is actually, in return, has borne a high demand for the fertilizers, not only in the domestic market, but as well in the export markets. So as reported with our financials, we were able to increase both our export sales and domestic sales. For the time being, we see the continuation of the demand, and this is actually why you can see the same growing pattern in our year-end forecasts? I would say yes.
So I think that we can anticipate this to grow linearly as it did this quarter, I believe.
Yeah, that's how we are feeling, how we are seeing it in the market for the time being.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question comes from Gursever Kerem. Sir, please go ahead. Sir, your microphone is open. You can ask your question. You are the last one on the Q&A session, sir.
The moderator.
Is it me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I have two questions. When I look at your backlog on the contracting side, I see that there is an amount remaining. There is an amount of $363 million remaining in Saudi Arabia, and we read from newspapers that there is an unofficial boycott to Turkish products, and we hear rumors that there are some unofficial boycotts for Turkish contracting businesses as well. How do you see the prospect of these 5 projects in Saudi Arabia? How do you see the prospect of their completion? Especially, I'm talking about Al-Khor Expressway, because that's the one which has only 1% completion percentage. This is my first question. And my second question is, when I look at your total backlog, let's say when I look at for the past 8 years, the average backlog amount was always on average $2.5 billion, and the company is currently $1 billion below that. What kind of business development activities are you doing at the moment? In which geographies? Are you optimistic about increasing the total backlog amount? Thank you.
If I may reply first question, starting from the first question. Right at the moment, what we are hearing and reading from the news and hearing from the market, that unofficial boycott has not been affected the construction contract yet, because we are not buying the material and equipment. But the problem over there is lack of payment, and we are facing. This is not only for the Turkish contractors, this is almost for all the contractors due to COVID reducing the budget. And the other project which you mentioned, Al-Khor, it is not in Saudi Arabia, it is in Qatar. It does not affect. And thirdly, if we come to backlog, yes, it was about 2 billion plus our expectation, and we may not able to reach it. This is again the COVID effect, because we know some of the projects we are in a short list and is in a good position to be awarded. Unfortunately, authorities has not been making the decision yet, because the second wave, third wave, whatever you call, COVID, everybody is very stepping very carefully and watching their budget. But how we can recover that? Right at the moment in our organization, the busiest departments are business development and the tendering department. There are too many pipeline projects in the pipeline, but it may not be realized this year. Everybody is getting ready themselves for the 2021. I can make the general comment for the contracting group. Year 2020 is lost year for us. not only for the Turkish contractor, almost for the all contractor all over the world. Thank you.
Can I have an additional question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Regarding the CSS petrochemical project in Mersin, when I look at your cash position and the current lack of progress on the contracting businesses, can we assume that this project is also going to be delayed because presumably it has a high capex amount?
This is Cahit Oklat responding. That investments are delayed has nothing to do with our backlog, but it has to do with the general economical situation in Turkey and in the world. So we are prudent and we are looking when we will have a clear economical picture that will encourage us to continue with the investment. So in this sense, we are going to limit our activities as far as the project that you have mentioned with our in-house studies for a certain period of time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next question comes from Kubilay Arkaslan, a private investor. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I have several questions. The first one is about Libya. The International Court of Arbitration has at least partially granted our rights, for the Libya case. In addition, governments has signed a memorandum of understanding to get the rights. And my question is, when do you expect the issue to be resolved for Tekfen? And is there any amount you have agreed with the parties yet? And the second question is about the tenders. I think you have given a bid for the Qatar North Field LNG expansion project. And is it possible for you to give information about this tender and when the tender will be finalized? And also for the Al-Sharq crossing project, what is the status of this project? Maybe postponed, cancelled, or still going on? If it is going on, what is the possible time to be finalized? And the last question is the agricultural production site. Last year we saw a loss at this site, and this year seems still same. And when do you expect to make a profit? Or when do you plan to make a profit there? Thank you very much.
Let me answer your first question. You're right, there was an intergovernment agreement as far as our receivables are concerned in Libya. We are part of this agreement. As you know, we had two court cases for our receivables in Libya, and we have already won. So, unfortunately, I cannot say anything with regard to when we can get it, but I know that the agreement has been ratified by both countries, and that negotiations are ongoing. We are trying to participate into this negotiations, and we are trying to get it from the clients that we had this receivable, because from Libyan, the government of Libya has instructed each and every different client to deal with their debts separately. As far as the North Field extension project in Qatar is concerned, we have more than one tender that we have given. I can classify them in two different categories. In package 2, we are in joint venture with an American company bidding to the Qatar Gas and Qatar Petroleum. And in package 1, there are different multinational EPC contractors that have formed joint ventures. We are bidding to them for certain sub-packages. As far as we have been informed, the package 2 that we have already bid directly to the client will be finalized by the end of January, they are saying, but let's be prudent and assume that they will be awarding, if not delayed in a second time, in the first quarter of 2021. And the other packages will be most probably within the first half of 2021. As far as Al-Sharq is concerned, as you probably know, nearly a year ago, it was actually 23rd of December last year, that they have announced the shortlisted bidder who can bid, and we were one of them. There were 6 or 7 groups. However, in March, just before COVID, they have announced that it will be delayed for 8 weeks. We didn't hear afterwards. What we know is that the tender that they were envisaging to float was a reduced tender. Now they have come to the conclusion that it should be, as was envisaged previously, an iconic project based on the Caltavara, a Spanish architect's design. However, there is no movement. It is most probably archived for the time being and will come to the market and to the tendering stage after 2022 World Cup. So as far as the 3 questions that you have posed, I try to answer. If you have any questions, I can answer. Otherwise, Mr. Ince is going to answer your... Yes, he is going to answer.
Yeah, thank you, Emrah Ince. When coming to agricultural production, you know, we have 2 companies. Actually 3 companies. One of them is a joint venture, but as coming for the production, for the fresh side of the business, Alanar Fruit is just a new company with newly established orchards, which means that the maturization of the orchards will be 75% or 80% maturized in 2023 and 2024. This year, under COVID-19 conditions, we kept our sites and orchards all operational 100% and have achieved to export more than 30 countries in 5 continents. But it's a fact that European customers' behavior has been changing, which means that consumption and the consumption diversity is changing, and the competition in Turkey with the low enterprises in the market without any orchards is still improving. So that means that a corporate farmer like Alanar, who will make the point of difference in this era, the driver of the business will be coming from the production, which since now we are having only 3% of our production from our orchards, 97% is coming from the trade. So the answer to the question, we will be hoping to have positive impact of the business when the production is maturized and the investment to be implemented within 3 or 4 years' time. For Tekfen Agri, which seed business is focused and seed business is profitable, the 4th quarter will be our marketing quarter. The production and agronomy side of the business was quite perfect this year. We have good yields in seed production and potato production and the other plants. But the 4th quarter will be the quarter which we will be having our all seeds sellable and making the profit or the numbers to be accounted for the financials. And that's all I can say.
Okay, may I ask the additional question about agri production? There were growth plans and intentions of cooperation abroad for the foreign companies or foreign producers. What about?
I couldn't understand the first statement.
At the past, there were some announcements like the growth plans with the foreign producers like Chile or the other countries like that. What about these plans, you can say?
Yes, we have studied global investment possibilities and opportunities overseas, which Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Mexican and Peru and Chile countries. But according to our strategic plan, there seems nothing quantified to invest overseas yet. So our ongoing business will be implementing within Turkey's investments.
Okay, thank you. May I ask the last questions about the board? It's said that the board have made a decision unanimously that Egan Zender management evaluation and consultancy firm would be hired to entrust the future of the company to a more robust, well-equipped and progressive structure. My question is this study be finalized or is still going on? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. As you know, companies, including Tekfen, from time to time, in order to get an unbiased and independent opinion about the management at various levels, not only the top management, but the lower management also, hire companies competent in this sector. And as far as I remember, 10 years ago, we had made such a study, and this is yet another one, updated study from a different company. And what we know is that they are going to give their reports by the end of the year to the board of the holding and make most probably certain recommendations. This is it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question comes from Mornen Gusaper from Kona Capital. Sir, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It's already asked, but can you please clarify the decline in the net cash position quarter-over-quarter in the engineering contracting segment? What we have seen is a billion TL almost cash burn, negative 200 million TL EBITDA explain 1/5 of that portion, and for the remaining 800 million TL, can you decompose the cash outflow of the segment? Thank you very much.
Let me try to answer your question such a way. This year, almost the existing projects completion year, and some of them advance payment has been repaid this year, and it was expectation that it will be the negative cash positions for some of the projects. Plus, top of it, this COVID pandemic affect our cash in position, and some of the clients has not been properly made paid, and we have slowed down in some of the projects, but cash out was still in some cases were our obligation and not able to get the cash in, and negative cash out position increased accordingly.
So as far as I understand, you were not able to collect the revenues primarily. Some of them were already prepaid and some of them are incurred, and you did the necessary payments, and for the primarily sort of a working capital management. Can you summarize through that, sir?
Let me answer that. If you look at the footnotes number 4, there is an there is a statement where we tried to clarify the position that in one of our projects in Saudi, or two of them together, there is an outstanding almost $30 million of receivable to be collected. That is one reason for the decline of cash, and also some projects are, temporarily stopped, and we had some expenses, of course, to be recovered once we go back to the project and finish it or start the works. So also in Russia, this is also in the footnotes, there is an outstanding balance. So altogether, plus this losses in the contracting group are cash loss, that is also another reason for the decline of cash. All in all, of course, it's not a full decomposition or breakdown of the total figure, but I hope that explains your question.
Thank you very much. That's clear enough.
Thank you. We have a new question from Selim Kanter. Sorry, sir, please go ahead.
Well, thank you. Actually, my question has already been answered. I was just going to ask the $128 million progress payment related to Saudi Arabia. So thank you.
The moderate. Thank you. We have a new question from Kubilay Akaslan. Sir, please go ahead.
Okay, my question is about the Russian and the Kazakhstan projects. When do you expect these projects start to affect the balance sheet positively? If it's possible, could you please explain as project basis? Thank you very much.
For the Kazakhstan, we have already started the remobilization, and the last quarter we will see the positive effects in our numbers. For Russia, we are progressing, but the conditions are very difficult than the expected environment. And right at the moment, we are about 13% progress, and that COVID effect and the environment climate change effects to the project are being discussed by the client. We are hoping that end of the year conclusion will be made.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. For the moment, we have no more questions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question, please press 01 on your telephone keypad. Thank you. So next question comes from Murat İnabeş. Sir, please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. I've got a couple of questions. Your statement in the footnotes is clear about Saudi Arabia, and it seems there are two major problems in the contracting segment. One is about receivables, that is related to Saudi Arabia, and second is losses in the existing operations. So can we conclude that these losses in Kazakhstan or Russia, whatever collection problems, are reversible, and you expect them to collect them in fourth quarter or recoup them in fourth quarter or first quarter for sure, or they are completely gone? This is my first question. Let's answer that, then I will continue.
Okay. First of all, our difficulties for the receivables, nothing to do with Kazakhstan and Russia, mostly in Saudi Arabia. Kazakhstan and Russia, due to COVID effects, pandemic, projects were stopped, and we have remobilized beginning of the October time. And we are hoping to recover our receivables within the last quarter of 2020. But for the specifically, if you ask the Russia one, we are hoping that, as I stated, after the conclusion, 2021 will be the year for the project.
So we should wait for 2021. And you will reclaim those, hopefully. Okay, that's clear. Second, about Saudi Arabia. Now you have a balance of $363 million. So I know this is due to the nature of this business. It's easy to accumulate receivables. It's completely understandable. So how long do you expect this situation to continue? Do you expect this receivable to turn into cash in fourth quarter or first quarter? Do you have any visibility on that? And more importantly, have you stopped operations and you no longer incur expenses? So because $360 million is huge, and if you continue working, that means you continue to make receivables. Is it the case, or is it completely stopped now until you make further collections?
No, we have not completed stop in Saudi Arabia. But you're right, the receivables will be shifted to 2021, most of them. We do not see to having the receivables in 2021. It may not be the whole for the first quarter of the 2021, but definitely overall payment will be made in 2021.
So we will probably see massive amounts of collections in a second quarter or third quarter at some point. You cannot estimate.
Yes,
exactly.
you are right.
And can you clearly confirm that this is not specific to Turkish contractors and it's about all contractors or all service providers, whatever?
The receivable problem is for all contractors, not specifically for the Turkish contractor, because we are talking with each other.
Okay, because there's boycott for Turkish stuff, and so there's all sorts of negative publicity in the media. So I was just curious if it's related to that or something else.
For contracting business, for the Aramco project, I can clearly say that for the whole contractor, not specifically for us.
Okay. Shifting to Alcor now. Now, as of end of third quarter, there is backlog of almost $258 million left, and expected end date is end of this year. Should we expect all this to be booked in the fourth quarter, or some of it will be reflected in the first quarter of 2021? And this balance, does it also include the deferred revenues or additional profits from the project? So this remaining amount could have higher margins, presumably, How can you comment on that?
Yeah, let me try that this way. 90% of the receivables is expected to receive 2020 last quarter. It may shifted some portion, 10 or 15% to 2021 first quarter. And the profit of this project, right at the moment, we can say it will stay as we expected. And if there are some cases which we are talking with the client, may affect a little bit positive on the profit side. But being in the safe side, our profit margin right at the moment will be kept.
Because this is a very large amount of revenues to be incurred in one single quarter. Assuming you have recognized around $200 million in third quarter only, this is one project worth at least $200 million revenues in one quarter. That's why I asked. So
yeah,
it can contribute significantly to your
very right question. Let me try to explain. You know, the Qatar is not like the other countries. During the winter time, it's the best time to work over there. And right at the moment, we are working with full force. And our subcontractors are also working full force. Before, due to COVID restrictions, we were not able to work as a full force. And we are working in an extended working hours. And our expectation and the plan is complete because the remaining percentage is about 3-4%, and easily can be done within 3 months, that percentage. Some of the activities may shift it to early 2021 due to nature of the business. But we do not see a big problem to have that amount of receivables in the last quarter.
Right. And okay, so finally about construction, looking at the next three months and maybe 6 months period, what is your expectation for new additions to backlog? Can you provide a guidance for when, at what backlog level you will end the year 2020?
I tried to explain the similar questions, answer the similar questions at the very beginning of our conference call, but let me repeat it. Right at the moment, our busiest departments are business development and the tendering department. Some of the projects that we have tendered already, we know that we are in the short list, but either government or the client authority, whoever is the owner of the project, are not in a position to make the decision yet. Due to budget restriction because of the pandemic. Our hope is big, but we do not know when and which countries second wave will be hit, and their decision will be changed. We are closely monitoring and following. That is what I can say.
Okay, thank you. And final question about your guidance. You have cut back your guidance after third quarter, that was expected, but still your guidance implies around 300 million in net profit left for the fourth quarter. So seeing your comments, listening to your comments on construction segment performance in fourth quarter, I think this 300 million is quite achievable, easily achievable. So your guidance is even a bit conservative, it seems. Is it fair to say so? Thank you.
from which direction you are looking. If you sit this side of the table and reply, your answer may be different, but if I sit in your chair and asking the question, might be different. But the answer is yes, we are quite confident to meet with our expectation.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question comes from Kemal Arda from Private Financial Advisors. Sir, please go ahead.
Okay, hello. Thank you for presentation. I want to ask about your chemical company, Toros Gübre, which performed quite well compared to its rivals. As we are in very alluring season for IPOs, initial public offering, why don't you evaluate Toros Gübre for initial public offering? Yes, this is my first question. And the second question, are you planning to enter to new markets, countries for your geographical diversification in your contracting business, like Africa? You are highly dependent on Gulf countries that have to tighten their investment budgets due to lower energy prices. Thank you.
So it's Hakan. Thank you for the question, and I'm going to try to answer your first question. As far as a possible IPO for Toros is concerned or not, the answer is for the time being we don't have any discussions about it. So it's not on the table for the time being.
I'm trying to answer your second question. This is Jai. Yes, we are interested in other countries that usually we have worked up to now. Indeed, we have offers in Mozambique, in Uganda, in Tanzania, Angola, and we are searching also Balkan countries and Eastern European countries to quote. So to geographically, not only geographically, but also in having infrastructure projects and superstructure projects also in our portfolio. So as were stated before, our tendering department is preparing offers not only in oil and gas and petrochemicals, but also in the other sectors of construction.
Thank you. Next question from Koray Ulkasar from Integral Yatırım. Sir, please go ahead.
Hello again. I have a follow-up question on your potential investments abroad. Do you have any plans for, let's say, what did you discuss? For example, Mexico or Chile, the countries you discussed. Can you clarify your stance again on potential investments? Thank you very much.
This is regarding the agriculture, I guess, no?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Hello again, it's me, Emma. For the previous question, I have tried to answer. For time being, we have no plan overseas establishment of purchase or new investments in the countries you have addressed.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. We have no more questions by phone. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, if you wish to ask a question, please press 01 on your telephone keypad. Thank you. we have no more further questions. Back to you for the conclusion, speakers.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your participation to our call. So that concludes our session today. I hope you have a nice day and weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes today's conference call. Thank you all for your participation. You may now disconnect.